Since September 11, 2001, American soldiers have been fighting a new battle in a new war, the war on terror. Like all wars, though, it takes a combination of technology, equipment, and training to take the fight to the enemy. Technology, training, and equipment that you will see here in these highly acclaimed documentaries that have thrilled audiences all over the world. Over the years, these award-winning programs have revealed the countless untold stories of bravery and compassion that are symbolic of America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, firefighters, and first responders. These are powerful stories of initiative under fire, of technology advancing combat capabilities, of fear and courage, and the incredible emotions that underpin the life of our frontline forces. We are proud to present these original, digitally enhanced programs so that we will never forget the courage of those willing to put their own lives on the line to save ours. So, watch closely. There are no do-overs in combat and no retakes in combat photography. What you are about to see are truly one-of-a-kind, never-to-be filmed-again scenes of military action that are riveting, up close, and unretouched. They are as relevant today as the day they were filmed. These are the untold stories of the challenge of flight.
Primary target is against the caisson area where there is a large, firm troop concentration.
There was the world. And then there was Vietnam. For 7 years, this foreign land was home to tens of thousands of American military aviators. They were there to fight a war, no front lines, waged across 1,000 miles of inhospitable country. Their stock in trade? Airstrikes, on call. They were the hand that evened the odds for the soldiers on the ground. It's O Dark 30, in Nam. This is what it was like. With the exception of massive strategic bombing initiatives like Rolling Thunder or Linebacker 2, the principal mission in Vietnam was close air support and tactical air strikes. Road cuts, trucks parked under trees, depots and marshalling areas, harbor craft. In one form or another, the pilots in Vietnam were ground pounders, chinking to the target, rolling in, pickling their bombs, firing rockets or strafing with guns. Under the dense canopy of the jungle and against an enemy that employed stealth as a way of life, the forward air controller was indispensable. Flying slow-moving aircraft, the FAC picked out the targets, marked them with smoky rockets called Willie Pete's, and directed the strikers in and out. Deployed with the troops or airborne, FACs were experienced fighter pilots that knew what a fast-moving attacker needed to get their eyes on the target. The FAC mission was flown by 3 aircraft: the ungainly O-1 Bird Dog, the twin push-pull O-2 Super Skymaster, and the twin-turbine OV-10 Bronco. Each aircraft was a slight improvement over the other: more armor, more rockets, and improved airspeed. F-100s and F-4s later joined the FAC mission. Codenamed Misty, the F-100 FAC role was known among the pilots as the Misty FAC. Misty FACs differed little from the O-1s, save this: because of the faster air speeds and higher stalling speeds of the jets, each mission was a grueling 4-hour flight in a 5G envelope. Rear-looking camera pods provided visual records of each bombing mission. Because the attackers flew in close proximity to the ground, footage from their high-speed cameras was useful in post-strike damage assessment and intelligence reports. Seen today, This same footage dramatically speaks to the capabilities and the limitations of the various types of ordnance used in ground attack. From the ground, airstrikes were a magnificent thing to behold. For soldiers, they were the one weapon that could be counted on to even the playing field. Often, though, they were the only way out of a position rapidly growing worse. Almost synonymous with Vietnam was the F-4 Phantom. Its telltale shape and smoke trails, the unnatural whine as it approached, left no mistake about it. One of the most powerful in-theater fighter aircraft was fast upon you. The Air Force, Navy, and Marines all flew the F-4. Pilots and Rios alike praised the Phantom's multi-role capability. By merely toggling a few switches, a double Uglies aircrew could transition from air to ground to air and fight their way home. In this extremely low-level pass, the F-4's wingtip vortices curled smoke from the bomb blast down into the trees. While many aircraft saw duty in Vietnam, the Air Force extensively deployed 3 additional fighters. The F-100 Super Sabre, shown here, the A-1E Sandy, which was also deployed by the Navy, and the F-105 Thud. The F-100 was America's first operational supersonic fighter and carried both bombs and rockets. The F-105 Thunder Chief was a powerful asset in the Air Force arsenal. The F-105 had the range, speed, and power to fly over Hanoi, carrying, in a single mission, almost twice the payload of World War II stalwart bomber, the B-17. The A-1E Sky Raider entered service just after World War II, but was indispensable during Vietnam. The powerful Wright engine got it in and out of situations that fast jets couldn't handle. Indeed, pilots called it the most effective close support aircraft in the world. No matter how well briefed or how well flown, air strikers ran the very real risk of being shot down. North Vietnam built one of the world's most sophisticated and elaborate air defense systems. Their crews were well trained and deadly effective. All told, 2,256 aircraft were lost over Vietnam, 992 during Rolling Thunder alone. Remembering that each flash is a weapon firing, each puff is a round of flak, and each visible tracer round is but one of 5 shot. Here's what it looked like when AAA and small arms fire came up to meet you.
Stand by release on rescue at 8.5 seconds.
Right now, 059.
059.
On track at this time, looking good. Co-pilot, this is pilot.
Yes, pilot, go ahead.
Okay, how's the temperature?
No story of
over there?
Vietnam is complete without mention of the Buff, the B-52. In the writing of history books, one footnote stands clear.
In 1 minute.
With unrestricted use,
Understand, 090.
the B-52 might well have been the weapon that kept South Vietnam free.
281, you want that heading now?
Roger.
Okay, turning 281.
Co-pilot, picking up any signals?
Oh, roger, co-pilot. Just a normal acquisition signals. No threats at this time. Radio ready for bomb run checklist.
Roger, stand by.
Roger. BNS true heading A1, compass mag heading cross check.
Cross check.
BNS altitude.
Set.
Nav mode select switch.
That's brief.
Roger. Crosshairs naming point.
Stand by one. Aiming point. Stand by one.
Roger.
Lock now, sit in.
Roger.
Checking. Number one.
Looks good.
Looks good. Going back to.
Roger.
Okay, set.
Roger. Offset switches as desired.
As desired.
Your primary control function switch bomb.
Bomb.
Pilot, what directions? PDI pointing.
It's about 6 left.
Major center, please.
Centering PDI.
Primary control function switch bomb.
Going bomb now. You're bomb.
Roger. Aviation check, you ready for it?
Roger, go ahead.
Roger, release circuit disconnect.
Connected, light on.
Bomb indicator light switch.
It's on. PDI center.
Roger, pilot racks loaded light switch.
On.
Master bomb control switch.
It's on.
Release power switch.
It's on.
Bomb door control valve lights are off.
Roger, checked out.
Bombing system switch manual.
Yep.
Bomb doors open to 30 TG, coming up on 30 TG.
30 TG.
Roger.
Yep, engine coming up.
Roger.
Doors checked open.
Roger, that completes the checklist. Ready, now.
Doors open.
Roger, standing by release.
PDI center.
Roger.
Coming up on southbound, 060 now. 060. One. Southbound and dropping 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got the time going. 8.5 is what we want. Stand by to release. Ready, now.
Bombs way.
Stand by EAR. Ready, now.
EAR.
Stand by for brake pilot.
Standing back.
Brake right.
America found the going tough in the air. North Vietnam's radar operators easily tracked our inbound fighters and pre-positioned interceptors along the way. MiG-17 and MiG-21 pilots had a heyday, jumping our jets when they least expected, firing a missile, then fleeing. Colonel Robin Olds set about to change all that when he initiated Operation Bolo. One set of fighters were positioned as decoys, while another stood ready to pounce. 7 MiGs went down that day. And this is what it looked like in the gun sights.
Coming off the target, I looked up and I saw a 105 with 2 MiG-17s right on its tail end. And so I broke into one of them, started firing at him as soon as I got in position. And I noticed some sparkling, some fire, and some smoke coming out of his left wing. So I pulled up because I didn't want it to blow up in front of me and possibly get my own aircraft. And I came back down. I was going to check him and make sure if I didn't get him, I would get him again. I came back down and I saw this MiG, and I thought it was the same one. This one had his burner going. And so I came in on him, and I pressed right on in until pretty close. I could see the pilot sitting in the cockpit. And started firing at him. And the whole right side of his fuselage and wing started lighting up. You can see where I was hitting him. Pretty soon I could see the pilot eject out of the thing. Burner still going, and I pulled up, came back in, saw the airplane roll off and hit the ground.
had 2 then and got 2 on the 8th. Of course, had 4, and everybody was saying, well, it's just a matter of time until you get another one and you're an ace. And I didn't really feel that way. I hate to count my chickens before they hatch. And sure enough, I've had a lot of problems since then. Weather's been bad, and first one thing or another, and I was beginning to wonder if I'd ever see another MiG.
How good does it feel?
Great, really great. And of course, the thing I'd like to emphasize here is this is probably the greatest team effort of any job that I know of. And quite a bit of shooting down MiGs has been in the right place at the right time, and I've been very lucky to be just in that position on 5 different occasions. So I feel very, very fortunate and very humble about the whole thing.
3,883 lives were saved because of search and rescue. It is one of the most remarkable stories of Vietnam. SAR units and pilots alike knew that the chances of rescue were good if they could get to a downed pilot in less than 15 minutes. It was a mission that they took seriously, combining helos with A1E Sky Raiders, and, when necessary, fast jets or fighter cap. came to getting troops out, nothing was too extreme. The deep jungle canopy is quickly cleared when this bomb, the Instant LZ, was used.
I don't think, had I thought about it to any great extent prior to the event, that I probably would have done it. I think it is merely something that happened at the time.
You have to be crazy to do what he did, in a sense. He risked it all there to do something that, as far as we were aware at the time, had not been done before.
Bob Pardo and Earl Amon were captains in 1967, stationed at Ubon Royal Thai Air Base, Thailand. On March 10, 1967, backseater Bob Houghton, Earl Amon, Bob Pardo, and his backseater Steve Wayne were in the same flight on a bombing raid over North Vietnam. It was the first raid on the Thai Nguyen steel mill, which was one of the most heavily defended targets in North Vietnam.
4,500 pounds. Roger, I'm going to hold 240 here till we get to red. I'm just crossing the river now, Steel. Red River.
About 20 miles from the target, you didn't have to concern yourself with navigation any longer because you could locate the target simply by the amount of flak that was present.
Captain Amon was the last of 44 attacking aircraft. As he came off the target, his aircraft was hit by 2 sledgehammer blows. Looking down at his instrument panel to assess the damage, Amon found that he was losing fuel. Ordinarily, he should have 7,000 pounds of fuel left, but his fuel gauge read 2,000 pounds and was rapidly dropping. Realizing that he wasn't going to make it to the refueling tanker, he quickly climbed to 36,000 feet to improve his gliding distance after his fuel ran out. Captain Pardo followed, trying to figure out some way to assist Amon.
It just sort of occurred to me that if he would jettison the drag chute, perhaps I could put the radome of my airplane in the drag chute compartment and push him towards the tanker.
After Amon jettisoned his drag chute, Pardo tried to move in behind Amon, but the turbulence from the aircraft was too great.
The only thing left was if he would extend his tailhook, perhaps the tailhook would extend down below most of the wash. Earl was very critically low on fuel. I suggested that he shut the engines down and save that little bit of fuel. We moved in under him again and were able to get the tailhook of his airplane up against our windscreen.
The hook is swiveled, and he could only push when we were directly aligned with one another. And as soon as the alignment was off, even slightly, the hook would slip off of his aircraft.
So we would push for maybe 15 or 20 seconds and lose our balance and slide off to the side. Back up and reposition and come in and do it again.
And although the tanker was still pretty far south, I thought with the push that we might make it and not have to eject.
The windshield did start to crack, sort of like a spider web, I guess. There's a small piece of metal that extends off the bottom of the hook that was gouging holes in it. And the more it began to look like a spider web, the more concerned I became. I was afraid that if the windshield did break, that I wouldn't have time to get the throttles in idle and back away from it before it hit me. So I decided that I would move the hook down below the windshield. There's a small metal area just below the windshield, just about the size of the shoe on the tailhook. And so we put it down there and continued to push. We pushed him an additional 88 miles, far enough to be in friendly territory in Laos. When we got down to about 6,000 feet above the ground, we decided that that was about as low as we dared go. It was time that we got out from under him and let he and his backseater eject. As soon as that happened, we saw both parachutes open. We did not have enough fuel to make it to the tanker. Steve and I ejected.
No pilot wanted to bail out over Vietnam. Getting home became a matter of the highest priority. It was with a sigh of relief that a pilot reached a friendly airstrip, often in a jet that under ordinary circumstances would be unflyable. In the end, Vietnam was a very personal war, one fought with a sense of duty to stand with your unit and get through it together. The end point, though, was the 100th mission. Fly it and you go home. For those that made it to the 100th, it was a moment for all to share in, each happy for the one that would return home. Return to the world. Return to the bed that would stay warm and comfortable well past dark 30.
V had told us for so long that the American public wasn't behind us, but yet they were out there hollering, "God bless America." You could tell that there were the Americans that fought in every war since time began, since we've been a country. It made you proud again to be an American. Proud that maybe that we did something there, that it wasn't all